Carrying on from the last video, Sushil Piakurel asking what is Jew, what is reconfirming what the Jew meant, Yehudi, and a couple of videos back I had said and explained it to him. Jew, yeah, does mean Yehudi, but not the way you would have learned about uh, the in cultural and anthropological sense identical to uh, the Arabs from the Arabian Peninsula. That's where they originated. But Dianne Feinstein, now, obviously Europeanized Jew, lots of intermixing, racial intermixing over the 2 millennia being in Europe. And then there was a very fine uh, DNA analysis, the genetics studies done by actually a Bangladeshi boy in internet, and over the time, I guess patrilineal lineage uh, is still there, some sort of ancient Middle Eastern originated heritage, but a person like Dianne Feinstein with the last name Feinstein, a German, so Germanized, and then moved on to Eastern Europe, Ashkenazi, what they call, they're identical to Europeans now, blonde, blue-eyed. So that had created a bit of confusion to Piakuril, and I had explained it to him that, they are European. Dianne Feinstein is European white, and that's the reason she talked to him as brusquely as a white ruling imperial homeland citizen, powerful senator. Sushil Piakuril would be non-human to her to be talking like that. Despite him being a human rights commissioner, well, how does it matter to you? So, about what had happened in Nepal, the royal coup by Gyanendra, because her husband had been, has a, had a, at the time he put it, a long-term business interest with Gyanendra. Uh, but going back to later on, Patrick Lee's staff saying she's Jew, she's very powerful. Well, smart people, they are in position of power, obviously. But that doesn't necessarily mean, her being Jew is automatically powerful, would be anti Semitic. Semitic would be, originally for people, Semites, originating in Arabian Peninsula, Levant, uh, near where the uh, current Israel is, historic Israel. But uh, this, she's, as I put it, she's European now, European white, but still, because she identifies as a Jew, so uh, that would be considered a defamation. Trying to attribute as if they have some uh, hidden extra power. But I had to explain him a bit. I mean, obviously, as a senator, she's powerful, but coming it from Patrick Lee's staff, she's a Jew, she's powerful. Obviously, they must have uh, had that kind of, um, scenario where they could talk like that. I don't know. I'm not aware of it. Why he said that? I'm not. I mean, I hardly had any. Only time I had a Jewish experience when I was in America was a roommate, very nice girl, and actually when I had told this monster of my life, Anil Mishra, who works for UNESCO now, the rapist, he had let out the usual and anti-Semitic diatribe. They're very cunning, they're very backstabbing, all that kind of thing. And then, so for me, she was one of the nicest, kindest, gentlest person I had ever met. We had a strictly platonic roommate relationship. That's it. A very, very rare interaction actually. I mean, we would meet in common area only once in a while, but she was very nice to me. So, but after I went back to Nepal, a very interesting thing happened. Devraj Dal, obviously, as I put it in the last few videos, about by 2004, and also I've written in Twitter, by 2004, he told me, it's very, what an evil. He had already told me, as I've written in Twitter, laid it out. I guess that was his, baiting, as intelligence baiting Int'L op on me itself. I don't know. But he told me anybody who's very powerful, who's a rising star in Nepali firmament, who becomes slowly powerful, that would be murdered by. That's the way he put it, and I put it in Twitter as well. America and India, the most overwhelming power. So I guess he didn't mention Britain, but I guess I suppose he left it out, and he had, specifically mentioned King Birendra, the, the Nepali one time very famous. He was quickly murdered right after he started becoming famous. Communist leader Madan Bhandari, and after whose death, this guy, as I put it in Twitter, veritable criminal, this Khadga Wali rose through the ranks and became most powerful among the communist leaders. He had mentioned King Birendra, Madan Bhandari, and a journalist named Indra, who died, succumbed to heart attack. I nearly succumbed to many such attempts. And and then who else? Saubhagya Saha, an academic. I had met him just once, and he thought he had met me for a long time, and people have had that kind of feelings with me somehow. I don't know. I guess I come across as imposing. I guess I don't know, but uh, he. There's this. I don't know what was the reason he was eased out, but he had mentioned Sauvagisa and and the politician Chakra Bastola. The Chakra Bastola politician uh, is actually Nepali Congress leader, but he had been saying it very clearly, this very thing about Royal Massacre. It was Indian, British, and American operation with Nepali elements chosen to be part of it. Obviously, Gyanendra and Nepal army dominated by the criminal Kuwar Rana family that time. So, but then I'd ask him, Chakra Bastala was, he deteriorated because he had a paralysis. Half of the body. He had a stroke and paralysis, and he died. I'd ask him, but he had a disease. And uh, and actually, when he was dying, Devraj Dahal had gotten very sad and almost crying. Nationalist, a very, good nationalist is being eased out of life. It said it in Nepali, एउटा राष्ट्रवादीलाई इन्डियाले मारिदियो भाइ. It's like that means a nationalist Nepali has been killed by India. He was dying, but he was saying he's already, he's killed. Metaphorically, he was dying. So I'd ask him, how can he say that? He had a stroke, and it's like, he'd put it, you don't know many things can be done. And well, again, I should have. Again, I had forgotten what he had warned me about. Royal Massacre. It was hidden underneath in my memory, and then I still went to office. But this is before I left for UK. Before that, his interrogation type. What do you think happened about Royal Massacre? He'd already told me. King Birendra, the murdered king, was actually murdered. He is categorically said. He had himself said it to me. I mean, now hindsight being 2020, I mean, I guess he was giving me a warning because at that time again he was kind of prospecting me as a future son-in-law. I mean, aiming to marry his daughter to me. Uh, I don't know. He had said any rising star identified in Nepali firmament, if they cannot buy him or her, would be murdered by Indians and Americans. That's what he had said. So in 2004, when I was leaving that, as I've written in Twitter thread, when he, interrogated me and he got really, dark, very, scared actually. I mean, very angry too, when he was repeating what had happened. So I guess by that time, I mean, he had come to the conclusion. I mean, he had obviously come to the conclusion that I was not going to be his son-in-law, so he had to uh, have revenge, and also being an intelligent person, he had to prove his worth. Typical coolie syndrome. Uh, that's how, what I have put it. House slave Stephen of Django Unchained incarnate George Varugis of Asia Foundation, and field slave driver Devras Dahal of Friedrich Ebert Stiftung. So, so when I went back to Nepal, I mean, as I put it in another video, he knew what had happened to me in UK, 2004 to 2006. I mean, continuously sought to be gotten. My money would be half the money, stipend money would be taken from the bank, only 300 left, and that on that too. Anytime I went out, bought anything, even within university campus, I would charge double. So the idea was to totally, as it's been happening only, last Wednesday, today is Saturday. Last Wednesday, I went to a close by a sandwich shop called Greg's, and I knew I had left my gloves there, leather gloves, 35 pound. I mean, obviously overcharged in Birmingham, as has been the Int'L operation.